Oi, oi, everybody, here we are. 1961D roll. This one is going to be reveal number 758. I'm going to pry this roll open here real quick, unwrap it, and we'll get started. Appreciate everybody being here waiting on me. I don't like to be that way, but I do have to eat, being a diabetic and all. But I feel great. Everything's working out fine for me today. You guys know what a relief it is when you get your tax information all together and you take it in to file taxes and you actually don't owe the IRS a dime beyond what you've already given them. So that is always a plus. Hey, DC, I saw your coin. What I can see of the photos that you posted, your coin appears to be one that could easily have come from a mint set as is. It depends on how those are stored. The chemicals that are in the paper on those older mint sets doesn't react very well with silver sometimes. He posted a picture of a Franklin $50 that came out of a mint set, and it didn't quite look right. And so he posted it to ask questions, and basically that's why I'm answering, is that it is an uncirculated $50. It appears to be an uncirculated $50. The thing about can't tell what type it is, I don't think the mint state $50 had two different types. I think that was only for the proofs. But I could be wrong about that because I don't know Franklin's that well. This is a 1956 that we're talking about. All right, first coin. Chubby Pop Chaser. Gets, oh, this one's a nice toner. Got some toning all around. I would look up that thing about type 1, type 2, because I don't think they had type 1, type 2 on the mint state coins. All right, looks like we're going to end up with, we're just going to check the first 10 coins on this. I don't really know of any double die reverses on 1961D. Okay. Got that one in and out. If anybody does know, could you please comment? 1956. On the proofs, there are type 1 and type 2 on the Franklin $50. It has to do with the, there's a nice little RPM right there. That's for Malcolm. Second coin in the roll. But it has to do with the number of feathers on the wings. And the number of feathers on the wings tells you whether it's a type 1 or a type 2. And I believe the type 1 is considered normal. The type 2 is a valuable variety. And I believe that's only on the proof. I don't know for sure. That's why I want to know. What'd you miss? I didn't miss anything. We were on coin number 2, got a nice little RPM. Coin number 3 here for Dirty Water. So you're coming into the mix early enough. I'm excited about this because, well, this could be a really good roll. Nice earlier die state coin here, but I don't see any doubling on the mint mark. Let's check the eye. And nothing really there. We're on the motto. Nothing really there. Looking in 1 cent. Now the 1960s are pretty notorious for having double dies that only show up like right down here in the corners of the serifs of the N, the O, the E, or well, the O doesn't have serifs, but anyway, you know what I'm talking about. I don't see anything here. That's where we would generally think to look on a 1961D for possible double die. That's usually where they're going to be. You're not generally going to have double columns on the 1960s. Yeah, 3 wings on one, 3 wing feathers on one, 4 wing feathers, and this is on the left side toward the bell. But what I was asking does that exist only on the proofs, or does it exist on the mint state coins and the proof coins? And I'm thinking it's only on the proofs. Taco John, next coin up. Okay, yeah, proof. I think the proofs had two different designs on the reverse. You can tell by the number of feathers on the eagle's wing that's pointed toward. It could be both of them, but it's definitely the eagle's wing pointed toward the bell. And the only reason that eagle was on the Franklin $50, you notice how it just really kind of looks like an icon. It's sort of out of place. It's because the original design did not have an eagle. And so the eagle had to be added to the design, because in the original 1792 mint rules, it was written that all of the larger silver denominations and gold denominations must have an eagle in the design. Whoops. Here's a blank spot. Let's throw an eagle on there. Let's stay in with the rules here. I believe, wasn't that Sinnock's design, John R. Sinnock? Because I think there was a commemorative $50 that also had the Liberty Bell on the back of it, and I think the Liberty Bell was directly transposed in design. 1873 Mint Act. Okay, it wasn't 1792. So I'm being corrected every day, and I like it. I love it that way. Because if I weren't corrected, there's no way I could be right all the time, and I could be wrong about everything and not know it. Thank you for the correction. 1873 Mint Act. I didn't know that was in 1873. Nothing really comes to mind as being important with regard to the mint in 1873. Let's see. It was 1853, I believe, that the arrows and rays were added to the dimes and the quarters, because, and I'm having to think about this stuff because I just don't really know. The arrows at the date on 1853, 52 or 53, quarters and dimes, because of a change in composition, the change in the amount of silver, they decided to change the amount that equals $1, thus changing what the it was 1873. Is that the one that dealt? I can think of the fact that the 1878 started the Morgan dollar, but I don't think that really had that much to do with a mint act about silver. Now, the other one that we're thinking of could be the Pittman Act, but that was in 1921. I don't know. We can all afford to learn a little bit once in a while, including me, especially me. If I'm supposed to be this knowledgeable guy about coins, I need to be asking questions all the time. Anybody who knows more about any particular subject than I do, I'm going to sit down and take notes, because I don't ever profess to know everything about any subject. The first thing you learn as an expert is that even experts don't know everything. But back to the 56 Franklin. That coin is toned. The toning, especially on silver, from the cardboard they package mint sets in, that cardboard can often react with silver and turn it near black. Sometimes you will get a a really nice toned coin. Sometimes it doesn't tone at all. But you will never see a mint set that's 70 years old come out with a blast white surface on the silver coins. It's just not going to happen. Sometimes all the coins have nice toning on them, but generally it's the silver. I keep seeing this little dot in there, and I'm that's too thin. That's a die scratch in the eye. You guys probably looking at that saying, why isn't he stopping? Because it's normal. And a lot of times I see things that are normal, and I don't even think to say anything about it. Just like this L here with this little thing that appears to be a bar on the bottom of the L. Yes, there are bar L double dies. But you can also see how on the top of the L, there is a streamer headed straight toward the rim. And you can see that the rim is a lot more shallow to the left of the L. And the reason for that is die wear. Die wear. Molecules of steel chipping out of the die as coins are struck, creating flow lines and creating die wear. Die wear is apparent with anything that has a lot of use on the die. And this is just die wear. It's not a bar L double die. So I wanted everybody to know that I'm skipping those things, and you're like, ooh, 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 ooh. Nope, 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 nope. Tain't nothing. Trust me, folks, I see just about everything. A lot of times I'm just skipping over stuff because I see it every day and don't even think to say anything about it. White spots. White spots is a planchet wash issue, usually. And the white spots can show on pretty much anything that didn't get rinsed well after the planchet wash. It's an interesting looking little coin with that big giant dot out to the west of the D. But I don't see anything of collectible concern. Not there. Well, I'm about ready to throw in the towel here. In fact, I am after this roll. I'm done for the day. There's an RPM. I'm about to say, you can't go through a 61D roll and not find die varieties. Come on. Really? Okay, this one I believe is the same die as coin number 2. And so we will collect these together. See, coin number 2 was to Malcolm. Coin number 11 for Doug. Both get an RPM. What is next? That is a normal coin, by all appearances. This, I think, is the same. Yeah, it's the same die that we were just talking about a couple of minutes ago. So, all right, here we go. Coin number 13 goes to Ant. You guys will probably notice, oh, an RPM. I think that's an RPM. This looks like a late die state version of RPM number 5 or 7. This right here and this up here appear to be the tops of 2 additional D mint marks. Let me bring that die up because I did take photographs of late die state coins and put them on the website at one point in time. So I'm just going to go in here and check. And frankly, I'll surprise myself if this turns out to be what I think it is, simply because it is so well hidden. Okay. It's not number 7. It could be another one though. Here's what I'm talking about. You've got these 2 little things that appear to be lines over there. Let me scrunch this in so I can scroll. Yeah, I gotta scrunch in some more so I can scroll. There we go. Okay. So up here, you get RPM number 5. That's what I was originally thinking about. These aren't near high enough to be RPM number 5. And you scroll down to number 7. If you look at number 7 in early die state, you've got these two lines up here that make out pretty clear D mint marks. But if you look at it in late die state, check out what you get. Let me move it over a little bit here. You see that? That's why I was thinking this could have been RPM number 7 right off, but it's not. They're in the wrong place. Yeah, they're in the wrong place for RPM 7, I believe. No, wait a minute. We do have RPM 7 here. Okay, so I'm duly surprised that I noticed it myself. I am duly surprised. I deserve a merit badge for this. Really. I think this is RPM 7. Let's check a couple of other markers, perhaps, if we have any markers to check. Let's see. Okay, so we have what appears to me here to be a little die dot at the bottom of and in between the ME of America. So let's check that spot here. Yeah, it's a little too rough. And we've got die scratches running there. That could be that this could be a later stage than what I took pictures of here. But it does appear that some of my flow lines seem to want to match. Let me check this area too. Get that in a little better focus. Oh boy, I'm not seeing enough to really throw the towel at it, but I believe there's some chance that we could have run into that die here. And the reason for that is this collection of die scratches around the 1 and the 9. They certainly look like they could be related to this. You know, now that I look at it, maybe they're not. But, boy, I tell you what, we got something close going on. Something close. The position of the mint mark is not correct for number 7. This is too far away from the 6 to be this. So we don't have number 7. Wow, could have fooled me. Could have fooled me. Yeah, all these die scratches, they look pretty much in the right area, in the right place, but they're not. You have this one here, which is heavy and long, and it doesn't show up here at all. And then, well, we're a little bit too far over for that. Let's see here. There we go. Let me zoom in a little bit to get it about the same size. And then focus. Come on. And then focus. Okay, yeah, you've got a lot of similar die scratches, but nothing that completely matches 100%. It sure looked like it. Boy, I tell you what. Yeah, no, these are not correct. Yep, that's kind of what I was saying, Eric, but here's a better shot of it for your absolute proof. The D mint mark on our coin is lower than the D on number 7. Another thing that you can always use, and this is a little secret that no one else is going to tell you. See how thick this D is on the bottom? How thick and like abrupt it is. It's very, very fat. And this one is really thin. This one was on a diet. You're not ever going to get the same RPM and have two different shapes of mint marks. They are going to be a lot more similar than this. And we can prove that to ourselves by going back and looking at the early die state coin of this same die, number 7. And see here, you still have that thin appearance to the bottom 3/4 of the mint mark. Early die state all the way to late die state. This is actually, well, this could be argued as a D over D over D over D, 4 Ds. There's your first one. Your second one looks like it could be right there. Your third one is here, and your fourth one is up here. So we may need to reconsider that entirely. But anyhow, so yeah, I'll put this away for now, and we'll keep moving. I'm going to pull this away and put it in a possible pack because it looks like possibly an additional die variety. It could be another RPM. It's not number 7, but that doesn't mean it's not an RPM. That just means it's not number 7. All right, well, let's keep moving. So you have seen the musings of a madman, and the whole reason why this stuff costs money to get identified, because it takes time. It takes away from the attributor's day no matter what you send to them, but especially if they're a common year for a die variety. That common year for a die variety means you've got a lot more to compare it to. You know, you send me a 1955 double die and I can look at it and pretty much tell you within a few seconds if it's real and if it's the right one. And if you indeed have a double die. I mean, it's pretty simple. But if you send me a 1960D RPM that has a minor split lower serif, it could take me half a day to identify one RPM. It isn't just you, folks. Now, my knowledge is kind of there. So with regard to knowledge of what it could be or what we're looking at or anything else, yeah, I mean, I can tell you easily that there's a big difference between 61 DRPM number 7 and 61 DRPM number 72. There's just a big difference, and I know that. And that's something that, some other people may really have to stare and look really hard at, 4040. See, there's another one of them right there. That could be die scratches, but I'm really leaning toward that being a D. Here's the serif, the stem, and the beginning of the upper curve, and this one looks like another one up here. But it also looks like it could be die scratches running this way. So it's really going to take some serious looking to figure this out. Well, now wait a minute. Wasn't this on number 7? Or was it? Let me look at it again here. I'm just going to pull it up on my screen. Let me run back to the later die state. Late die state will show me for sure. Let's see here. LDS photos. And no, I don't have a photo that goes to that area. So I'll actually have to get my coin out and take a look at it. But this one's going to go in the same pile as Ant's coin. This is for Adam. We're definitely going to have to take a better look at this and see what we see. 1 for DC. Let's see what DC gets. I got nothing. That's that same die that has that extreme wear on the edge of the L. Shinbone. Interesting looking stuff, but we're not here for a Sunday drive. We're here to identify die varieties. When a D is just a D. I've got, that was an idea for a book that I was going to write at one point in time and decided not to because I think it's going to be too narrow a scope to do and make any cash on. That's looking more like die scratches every time I find one of these. I'm seeing this stuff over here too, and it looks like it kind of lines up to be die scratches. Yeah, but the book I was considering, I'm going to put this one in the same pile. This one goes to Russell. Is the idea that a lot of people look at machine doubling or other forms of doubling on coins, mint mark hits, zinc rot, all kinds of stuff, and think they're looking at RPMs and double dies, but turns out they're not anything. And this book would perhaps help with the teaching and the learning of what a die variety is and what a die variety isn't. So I used to watch those meteorite hunters. Used to go out in the desert and use metal detectors looking for iron meteorites. And, well, they didn't use metal detectors. They used magnets. That's right, because they're looking for iron. But anyway, I digress. They are out there looking for meteorites, and they have a really funny kind of saying. They've got meteorites, and they've got meteorons. We have the same thing in coins. We've got coins that are right and coins that are not. And what it takes, and the big secret, I'm going to give you guys a huge trade secret right here. Look everywhere else. So if you see something that you think might be doubling or might be a mint mark issue or might be whatever, look in all the other areas of the coin. If you see something that relates to what you think you see, then there's a pretty decent chance that it is. Usually the most obvious thing is the right answer. Turns out that you don't have this RPM because, well, there's these other streaks and other issues elsewhere. It turns out that you don't have an RPM because, look up here, you have machine doubling in the date that's related to the doubling on the mint mark. So, no, it's not an RPM, it's machine doubling. These are the things that, as an attributor, over time, you learn. A whole chapter on lighting would be a good thing. I suppose somebody needs to make those difficult videos. This is another one of those, isn't it? Yep, it is. Very late die state. It's got that little thing that sort of kind of looks like a double die lid, but it isn't. Just a die scratch. DC. That's a nice looking die right there. I mean, that's an early die state coin, but there's nothing on them. I keep looking to turn something nice into something collectible, and it just doesn't always happen. It's pretty, but it ain't worth nothing. Malcolm. That's another coiner wrong. It's not a coiner right. It's a coiner wrong. Here we go. Coin number 28. That's got that little RPM on the top serif, and there's also a little tiny bit of doubling on the bottom serif, but you can see it better when you look at it like that. And oh, there actually isn't anything on the bottom serif, but it's definitely on the top serif. Not only the right angle, Eric, but also properly diffused. Your light has to be spread out properly. You can't have a pinpointed light and expect to really be able to see anything. You also can't spread it out too much into different sources. Man, that really is looking more like die scratches every time I look at it. But boy, I tell you what, that sure got me going in the beginning. This one for dirty water. We're going to stick that one in the stack with the others. And, well, I'm going to pass the buck to Eric and see what Eric thinks. Because, well, for lack of any better terms, Eric is an expert. I consider him more knowledgeable in some cases than I am because he studies RPMs a lot more closely than I do. And there are times where I can show him an RPM that's a minor one. He says, oh, that's number 241. It's like, dude, I'd be all day and all night looking for that. I'd find it eventually. There's another one of those. Nice little upper split serif RPM. But yeah, I could find it, but no. I'd rather pass it by him and see if he, by some chance, photographed one of those the day before and can remember it. Because if you can remember it, I'm going to be a lot less time trying to find it. There's another one of that with the two humps between the 9 and the 6 that look like two D's. It's got a big black spot, but I can't help nothing when they're coming out of sealed rolls. Orig at least gets one of them. I don't know if it's going to be anything, but we're certainly going to check it out. That sounds weird. There's some chance this coin could be off weight. It doesn't sound right. Hang on just a second. Let me get Mr. Scale out and see what Mr. Scale says. .105. Straight up the correct weight. So my earballs are not hearing things right. My eyeballs are not seeing things right. I'm a mess. I'm a hot mess today. There's another one. The more I look at these, the more I'm thinking, okay, not even so much as this looks like it could be related to this stuff over here and this stuff over here, but look at the direction of what appears to maybe be a die scratch that I was calling the top of a D because it looked like the top of a D like right here. But look at the direction of this and the direction of this up here. They're very, very similar. So you have to look around. Don't just pinpoint your vision to one spot and look at it. You're going to fool yourself every time. But if you look at it like this, now you can see that there could be relationships all the way up here to what's going on right here. So we'll put this one in a holder and give Russell his second one of these. But I don't think we're actually going to end up going anywhere with this now that I've seen a couple of them. I've seen a few of them. I've seen a number of them now. Yeah, I'm in the same boat, Mark. I'm actually thinking no at this point. But I tell you what, that first couple of coins, I was looking more at that being number 7 and then trying to prove it was and giving myself a merit badge for it, and I've just ripped it off my sleeve. So I'm feeling a little puppy whipped right now. Oh yeah, we keep running into the same dies over and over and over again. This is one of those. But that gives us a helper. The first helper is that we know to look for anything that might be difficult to spot. We know to look for them. And the other thing, there's another one of those. The other thing is that once we do find something relatively minor, it's going to be a lot easier to find the others. But the other thing is that when they strike these coins, they strike them only on a few die pairs at a time, and they get hoppered and bagged. And when they get hoppered and bagged, they get bagged together. And then when they get dumped out of the bag and rolled by the bank, they get rolled together. And so in an original bank roll of coins, a lot of times you're only going to see 3, 5, 6 die pairs, maybe 8 die pairs. And all of the coins in the roll will belong to that short number of die pairs. Nanostacks. Nothing, honey. Coins and ghouls. The A&A used to actually run correspondence courses that you could buy into, and they would send you a book and a class that you would test at the end of your session and get a certificate for having taken the class. You contact the library at the A&A headquarters in Colorado Springs about that. I don't know if they still do it. I'm talking mid-'80s last time I really looked into it. I'm a life member of the A&A. I've been a life member of the A&A now for about 15 years. That's a nothing. And every one of their correspondence courses, I don't know how they would do a grading course, because grading, you have to actually look at the coin, unless the coins that they're doing are all inexpensive coins, but still. Could see somebody getting involved in a grading class and they send you $100,000 worth of gold and you disappear, you know. All right, up to coin number 44 now, and then we'll be done for the day. I got Roger, Mr. Borland. Okay, now we've got one of these with some a little bit more detailed look, and that's definitely not an RPM. Definitely not an RPM. It is an old, worn die scratch, and these up here are very likely related to this one, as is this and this and this. This over here and all this even down here. So all of those ones that I thought were something good, unfortunately, no. Unfortunately, no. Coin number 45 for Sissy. It's another coin-a-rong. Sergeant First Class. Nothing there. Basically, we've got one later dice date upper split serif that we're looking for in this roll, and that's about it. And it is not this. Unfortunately. Taco John up next. Same die. Same die. Or we're going to have a showcase showdown. Wow, look at that. That's just really nice earlier die state. I like them when the dies are real clean like that. Especially die varieties. Holy moly. Get a die variety with a nice clean early die state. Dude, you're getting a Dell. There's one for sloppy stacks. And that marks the end of this roll. It's the end of the roll. All right, folks. Well, I appreciate everybody being here. We have run into just a couple of examples of a rather minor double RPM, but never fret, never fear. We will be doing more rolls in the near future. I've got 7 additional rolls actually. 2 to get done for last week and 5 to get done for this week. And that's going to start tomorrow. So I appreciate it, folks. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you next time. Be well.